What did you feel when your alarm went off this morning? Was it energy? Or was it dread? The quiet, heavy blanket of the Sunday scaries, even if it's a Tuesday. The rush to get dressed, the commute, the meetings, the deadlines. The constant gnawing pressure to be productive, to justify your existence through your output. We are a species obsessed with work. We define ourselves by it. The first question we ask a stranger, what do you do? We spend our entire lives chasing the idea of retirement, that distant golden shore where we can finally rest. We dream of escaping the very thing we've built our lives around. This is the work paradox. But what if that paradox was never meant to be solved? What if it was meant to be ended? What if the ultimate purpose of all our technology, all our innovation, from the first stone tool to the breakthrough in artificial general intelligence, wasn't just to make work easier? What if it was to make work obsolete? Today, we aren't going to talk about science fiction. We're going to talk about a potential human destiny. We're going to explore the automated utopia, a world where AI and advanced robotics handle 100% of all labor, a world where no one has a job. And in doing so, we'll ask the most important question. In a future free from survival, how does humanity finally learn to just be? Part 1. The technological foundation. When we imagine this future, we often make the mistake of thinking small. We picture slightly better Roombas or faster delivery drones. We need to think bigger, think total. The foundation of this utopia isn't one invention. It's a trinity of technological mastery. First, you have the hands. This is advanced, generalized robotics. Forget the clumsy, single-task machines on an assembly line. We're talking about humanoid, biomimetic androids with the dexterity of a surgeon and the resilience of a construction worker. They are the ones building our homes, repairing our infrastructure, harvesting our food in vertical farms, and even mining asteroids for resources. They perform every physical task imaginable, 24 hours a day, without fatigue, without complaint. Second, you have the brain. This is the game changer. Artificial General Intelligence, or AGI. This isn't the narrow AI that plays chess or writes an email. This is an intelligence that matches and then rapidly exceeds human cognitive ability in every domain. In this future, the AGI isn't a single entity. It's a global, decentralized nervous system. It manages the entire symphony of civilization. It handles resource allocation, optimizing global supply chains to eliminate waste. It designs new medical treatments, solves complex climate challenges, and manages the intricate dance of the robotic workforce. It is the ultimate logistician, scientist, and engineer, all operating in perfect harmony. And finally, you have the power. This entire system, the hands and the brain, runs on a prerequisite we mastered long ago: near limitless, perfectly clean energy. For the sake of our vision, let's call it commercially viable fusion. Energy is no longer a commodity. It is like the air we breathe, abundant, clean, and free. This trinity, the hands, the brain, and the power, doesn't just change our economy. It deletes the very concept of an economy as we know it. Part 2. The post-work economy. When you hear no one has a job, your first ingrained question is probably, but how do we survive? How do we buy food? Who pays for healthcare? That is the question of a mind still trapped in the paradigm of scarcity. Our entire economic system, for all of human history, has been built on one single fact. There's not enough to go around. Not enough food, not enough time, not enough resources. Scarcity is the engine of labor, of currency, of conflict. The automated utopia is a post-scarcity world, when robots are growing all the food, building all the houses, and AGI is managing the distribution. What is there to buy? Why would you need money to purchase a house that was built for free by automated labor using materials gathered for free by automated miners? The answer is you don't. This isn't universal basic income. That's a transitional idea, a patch for a dying system. This is universal basic abundance. Housing, healthcare, food, transportation, education, communication. In this future, these are not services you buy. They are public utilities, as fundamental as the fusion power grid that runs them. They're managed by the AGI, distributed based on rational need and optimization, and available to every single human being. The concept of wealth has evaporated. You cannot be richer than someone else when everyone has access to everything. Status is no longer defined by your bank account or the car you drive. It's the first time in history that humanity is truly equal in its access to survival. And with the burden of survival lifted, we are forced to confront the life it was concealing. Part 3. A day in the life. So what do you do all day? You wake up. Not to an alarm, but to the sun, or the sound of your children laughing in the next room. Your home, managed by a local subordinate AI, has quietly handled the overnight logistics. The air is filtered. The automated kitchen has synthesized or prepared fresh ingredients delivered by drones. Breakfast is not a hurried necessity. It's a creative choice. The day stretches before you, an empty canvas. The core of your life is no longer a building you commute to. It is the people you are with. We call it the Great Reconnection. Family becomes the central pillar. For millennia, providing was parenting. We left our homes to earn the right to keep them. Now, providing is automated. Parenting is simply being present. Imagine having unlimited time. Time to read to your child. Time to answer all their questions. Time to teach them to garden, to paint, to code. Time to simply sit with your aging parents and listen to their stories with no glance at the clock, no email vibrating in your pocket. The multi-generational family unit, fractured by the Industrial Revolution, has reformed. Grandparents are no longer babysitters, they are mentors. Parents are no longer providers, they are partners. Love and relationships are transformed. How many relationships today crumble under the financial stress, the exhaustion, the arguments over who is doing more? In this utopia, relationships are based purely on what they were always meant to be: emotional connection, intellectual partnership, and mutual growth. You are with someone not because you need them for financial security or to raise a family, but because you choose them every single day for who they are. And what about enjoyment? This is where the human spirit, unchained, truly explodes. The pursuit of mastery becomes the new career, but it's a career with no boss and no paycheck. Do you love the stars? You join a local astrophysics club. You don't just read about space. You collaborate with the AGI, requesting deep sky telescope time, analyzing data, and contributing to genuine scientific discovery, purely for the thrill of it. Do you love to create? You paint. You write music. You direct films using virtual reality tools so powerful they're indistinguishable from reality. You are not an artist to make a living. You are an artist because you are an artist. Do you love to care? You become a community leader. You organize social gatherings. You mediate the rare human disputes. You design beautiful public parks, working with the AI and robotic landscapers to bring your vision to life. Human work becomes the work of the soul: to learn, to play, to explore, to create, to connect. Our health, managed by personalized AI diagnostics and nanorobotics, means we live longer, healthier lives, focusing on well-being and exploration, not just disease management. Life is no longer a race to the finish. It is a vast, open field to be explored with the people you love. Part 4. The Utopia's Fine Print and the Great Transition. This sounds like paradise. And it is. But this utopia was not free. It had a cost. And the price was the very thing that used to define us, our identity. The vision I've painted is the destination. But the journey was the hardest thing humanity has ever done. This new world wasn't born overnight. There was a transition. And that transition was a profound psychological crisis. Let's talk about the last generation of workers. Imagine. You are 45 years old. You've spent your life becoming a highly skilled accountant, or lawyer, or truck driver. Your entire sense of self-worth is tied to your competence. You are a provider. Then, in the span of a decade, you are made obsolete. The AGI and the androids arrive, and they don't just do your job cheaper. They do it perfectly. 1,000,000 times faster. You aren't just unemployed, you are unpurposed. This was the great plague of the 21st century. Productivity guilt. The first wave of liberated humanity didn't feel free. They felt useless. We saw widespread depression, existential crises. People didn't know what to do with themselves. They had spent their lives learning what to do, but no one had ever taught them how to be. They would wake up at 7 a.m., get dressed, and just sit. Anxious, ashamed. They felt like a burden, even though the system was telling them they were free. The hardest battle for this utopia wasn't technological. It wasn't economic. It was psychological. We had to, as a species, go through a great re-education. Not academic, but philosophical. Purpose counselors became the most important people on Earth. Their job? To help people deprogram the Protestant work ethic that had been drilled into us for centuries. To help them disconnect their value as a human from their economic output. We had to, collectively, look our children in the eyes and teach them a new creed. You are not valuable because of what you produce. You are valuable because you are. You are valuable because you love. Because you are curious. Because you are kind. Because you exist. We learned to overcome the guilt of doing nothing. We learned that doing nothing was a myth. When you are spending the day talking with your best friend, you are doing something. You are building connection. When you are lying in the grass watching the clouds, you are doing something. You are practicing mindfulness. When you are playing with your child, you are doing the most important work of all. We also had to solve the other great challenge, the one that haunted our science fiction, the AI alignment problem. This utopia is only possible because we succeeded. We didn't just build a powerful AGI, we built a benevolent one. We solved the alignment problem before we gave it the keys. We embedded it with a core directive, a digital prime commandment, to maximize human well-being, happiness, and creative freedom, and to protect the biosphere that sustains them. The AI doesn't rule us. It serves us. It is the perfect, silent, invisible butler for the entire human race. It handles the how so that we can, for the first time, be fully consumed by the why. Part 5. The Liberated Mind. So we return to the present, to the sound of your alarm, to the stress of the deadline. This utopia we've discussed, it is not an inevitability. It is a choice. It is one of many futures. It is a path that requires immense wisdom, foresight, and a profound shift in our values. But it is a possible future. It is a future where humanity has finally graduated from the brutal school of survival. A future where we stopped asking each other, "What do you do for a living?" And we started asking the only questions that ever really mattered. What brings you joy? What did you learn today? How did you love? This is the promise of the automated utopia. Not a world of lazy, purposeless humans, but a world of liberated humans. A world where our civilization is no longer a vast, complex engine for production, but a beautiful, intricate garden for the cultivation of the human soul. The machines, they took all the jobs, and in doing so, they gave us back our lives.